I will go ahead and open the December 16th Board of Adjustment meeting for the City of Provo. Today, let's see, due to our COVID status, we are continuing with our online meetings. And I've been asked to read this statement. It says, due to Utah County's high level of coronavirus cases as determined by the state's COVID-19 transmission index, I have determined that conducting meetings with an anchor location presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of those who may be present there. Therefore, for the next 30 days, all meetings of the Board of Adjustment will be conducted via electronic means. Okay. Today, it looks like we have the one meeting or one item on the agenda, and I will read that into the record. It states, Jennifer McCann appeals a staff determination of the legal use of the property for a residential property located at 562 North, 600 West within the residential conservation zone, North Park neighborhood. Before we turn time over to staff to present their report, do any board members need to declare any conflicts of interest? I have none.
I have none.
I don't have any.
Okay, perfect. So we will proceed with kind of in the way as follows. We'll have the staff report. Then board members will have an opportunity to ask questions. Then we will allow the applicant time to speak to the issue. I don't know that we have anyone representing neighborhood here with us, but should any public comment anyone want to make public comments, words today, that would be the time to do it. And then we'll discuss, decide, and that should be our meeting. So I believe Ms. McNally has our staff report this evening.
Thank you. So the applicant is requesting an appeal of the staff's zoning determination of the single family residence for the property at 562 West, 600 North. So in November of this year, a zoning verification was requested on the property, and our code compliance officer responded with a letter stating that the property is recognized as a single family home. It's always been recognized as a single family home, and it is limited to a single family or 3 unrelated individuals. I think it's important to note that there have been several similar requests and several zoning violations on this property for it being used as a duplex. And it seems like every time a new owner takes over, we go through the process with them once again with our zoning officer. So this has happened several times. Each time the owner has been informed that it is a single family residence, that the second kitchen is not allowed, and it's there have been a few times where the owner has been asked to restore the home back to a single family footprint and not use the second kitchen. So the applicant has not provided sufficient proof to suggest that the property is anything other than a single family dwelling, and staff's recommendation is that the appeal be denied. I've attached the letter from our zoning compliance officer, who is also here with me if you have questions for him. And this is the letter that we received from the applicant. It's also in your staff reports if you have those in front of you. And then these are the applicant also submitted photographic evidence for for the appeal. So these are the photos. Here's the property in question, and then the rest of the pictures are of the surrounding neighborhood. Do you have any questions for staff?
I have a question. You said that with previous owners who have gone through this process and been notified that it is a single-family home, and they've been asked to remove the second kitchen. Is removing the second kitchen just strictly up to them? It's not, is that anything that's enforceable by code or what? So you've asked for that to be removed. What has the follow-up been to that?
So I'm not sure. I know zoning enforcement officers have gone out and done follow-ups. I don't think anybody on the zoning staff now was party to those. I think the last one was in 2015, and the one before that was around 2008. So there are a few notes in the case files. They don't speak to follow-up actions that were taken, so I'm not sure.
Are we aware of any circumstances that make this situation materially different from previous efforts to have the property kind of rezoned or made, an acceptable non-conforming use?
I am not aware of any, or Evan and I, are you aware of any extenuating circumstances?
I have to take a look at that.
Okay. At this time, we have not been informed of any extenuating circumstances. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
No, please go ahead.
So my question was just along the lines of, it seems it kind of gets convoluted sometimes, but basically, they appealed the decision to say, hey, you guys said, Provo City said, this is a single family. And they're saying, no, it's a duplex. And you're saying, if we approve this, we just basically are saying that Provo City potentially was wrong and it is a duplex, not a single family, or it could be classified as a duplex. And that's basically what we're deciding on tonight, right? It's not necessarily saying, hey, regardless of the appeal, yeah, we approve this to be a duplex or whatever. It's more of just saying this is classified as a single family according to Provo City. They think it should be classified as a duplex, and we're saying, yeah, it meets the standards of burden of proof, so it can be a duplex. Is that, I'm just trying to, often it's very convoluted, so I just want to make sure we know what we're voting on.
So it's an appeal of an administrative decision. So yes, you can uphold the staff or you can overturn the staff. If you overturn the staff, we would just need some type of, findings or reasons as to why it would qualify as a duplex or why it should qualify as a duplex.
Okay.
So the question really is did staff error
Yes.
in their determination of fact?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. That was just clarifying. And then I'm assuming that was Bill speaking.
It was.
Just a follow-up question on that. What is the standard process for getting approved, changing the zoning on a duplex from single family to duplex? Is it generally, it's not generally through us, right? it would be through planning commission potentially, or what's the normal path of like, hey, I'd like to convert this. I meet all the criteria. How do we get there?
Yes, they file his application for a zone change, and that goes to planning commission for a recommendation to the city council for an ultimate decision.
Okay.
They would just need to ask for is an adjacent parcel that's got higher density, or they could ask for their own R2 zone or low density residential. There, we've got lots of zones that could be used, but it would have to go through a zone change process.
That's just more of a, I don't know if it's personal, but it's kind of just understanding this process a little bit better. Okay. Those are all my questions. Thanks for answering those.
Tom and Maria, do you have any other questions? Okay.
So has any of that process been done? Have they filed for an app to have a zoning change or anything?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Well, without any further questions at this time, let's invite the applicant to state their name for the record and present to the board.
Let's see, let me unmute. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. My name is Jennifer McCann, and I represent VWH Investments. I just manage that property for them. You had said something about going through the appeal. I thought I did file to have this changed. Did I not do that? This is all new. I've never had to do this before, so I don't really know the processes. But I was under the impression that I did file for the zone change, but maybe I didn't. Maybe everything I did was just for this meeting. Do you know?
Is there staff?
Sorry. So yeah, you only filed an appeal to the decision. You did not file for a zone change request. That's
okay,
a different process.
That's completely separate.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't understand. Okay. Okay. I guess when the investors that bought this property bought it, because of the way it was set up, the outdoor entrance, we assumed that, and that's our fault, I guess, for not checking zoning, that it was a rental, that they rented it out. There was a separate kitchen downstairs, upstairs, completely separate entrances. We didn't plan to do anything with it anytime soon. And so decided, well, we're sitting on it, we might as well rent it out. We're surrounded by apartments on every side for blocks, duplexes. When the current tenants found out that there's a possibility that they were going to have to move, they both sent letters. I can read them if you want. They both are there because it is affordable housing. We are not looking to, we're not in the rental business. That's not our thing at all. But this property does provide two families who desperately need it. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. They each have one child. They both share a huge backyard. It's a property for both of them to feel like they're in a house, but they're not in a house. But they're sharing it. They both can't afford, without public assistance, to live anywhere else. And so, and I didn't even realize this until I got the letters from them stating how this would be really devastating for them to have to move. So, we would love for it to remain, or to the zone to be changed so it is a duplex. These two families would benefit greatly having it as a duplex. I don't know what else I can say other than I feel like this house is situated in a neighborhood. The backyard has apartment complexes right next to it. There's apartments everywhere. It just seems to fit this neighborhood. So I guess that's all I have, unless you have questions for me. I don't know what else to say other than I kind of feel like I'm pleading the tenant's case as well this time, because I didn't realize how much these two families count on renting this space, because it is relatively inexpensive considering rent in the surrounding area. We are much cheaper, and one would probably have to move back in with their parents because they couldn't do it. So.
Thank you for your presentation and for your participation here, this evening. I think one thing that it seems like one board member or another always wants to make clear in what this board is. We are certainly just a group of invested, interested residents of Provo who are trying to help bring a certain kind of citizen review, a certain sense of human reflection, maybe a little bit on the rules that govern the city and property. Of course, we're quite limited in scope into under what circumstances we can make certain decisions, and so certainly are sensitive to the needs of residents in Provo. I don't know that I don't think your description of people in need of housing falls on deaf ears. I think. Are there any other board members that would like to ask any questions before we begin to deliberate and discuss what would be reasonable for the board to decide going forward?
I don't have any questions. I think after this we open it for public comments and then we'll discuss. Right?
That's right.
Okay. I don't have any questions for now, but appreciate the presentation. As Andrew's saying, yeah, thanks for being here. And obviously it's like you said, a lot of times people this is their first time. Good on you for being here and trying to get through it all and figure out this process. So thanks for being here.
Well, let's go ahead and open it up for public comment, and then we can start discussing.
No public comments at this time. 15 seconds. No public comments.
Okay. So maybe I'll make an opening comment just, as we kind of start to decide the board, how we would like to vote this evening. First, I think the way I am understanding things is that because we're limited to determining whether or not the city determined properly what this building is legally, how this building is legally identified and designated. My sense is that the city did identify, legally speaking, strictly, this is a single family residence that has been constructed to appear as a duplex despite not having met legal status. And it does make me sad that it seems like, over multiple transactions, this home has been represented in bad faith to multiple individuals who have been kind of in this position. So I'm not sure that we as a board have any remedy to offer other than to find that the board or that the city determined the status of the building appropriately and allow the applicant to move through other planning and rezoning processes that might be applicable.
I have some thoughts. If I can take a couple of seconds.
It's all yours, Wes.
So yeah, just a little background. Jennifer, I don't know your last name. I would call you by your last name, but sorry, you're muted, so I can't hear you, but yeah, for some reason I can't hear you, but okay. Well, so one of the, just a little background on us, we basically are here as a board to make adjustments to code and not code and zoning. And to do that, we have to meet certain criteria. And there's 5 criteria that we have to basically meet to be able to pass certain things. And so generally we have a little bit of more information on how a certain situation is unreasonable hardship, or it doesn't work on the general plan, things like that. So in this case, just speaking from mine, I don't see how this fits that based on what we've been shared. And so I'd probably suggest doing the rezoning process. And in doing that, if you really want to go through the duplex stuff, I will say Provo is really difficult on that. A lot of these older houses are they're just different. Some people refit them to be triplexes or duplexes, and then they go through the proper steps about 40 years ago to become a duplex, and they got approved back then. But ever since 2002, it's not impossible, but it's really difficult to get the city to approve changing from a single family to a multi-unit. It's not impossible, but it's just very difficult. And I think you have a number of options in that, but as far as just the Board of Adjustment goes, I'm kind of in the camp of we can't, based on the information, I can't approve the appeal, and I'd have to be with the board of the staff report, go with the staff report. And that's just my thoughts. And so if there's any other thoughts, people can share, but that's kind of where I'm at.
I appreciate your time being here tonight, Mrs. McCann. And you mentioned that this home is surrounded by other duplexes and triplexes and apartment complexes. And Provo finds itself in a delicate balancing act in trying to have and create enough housing for people who are only going to be here for a few years, as well as maintain single family homes for those that want to make Provo their home for life, and or long term, I should say. And it's a very delicate maneuver trying to balance the different zones, and it's a thankless task that Provo City has in trying to create these different zones: R1, R1A, R2, R3, and so on and so forth. And a lot of people in Provo say, well, yeah, we need more housing. We need more housing. But then you get people say, but not in my neighborhood. You know, I don't want high density in my neighborhood. And so that's something that Provo has to constantly look at and try to find that balance. If there are that many apartments and what have you around there, Provo can take a look and see if that can be a buffer zone between single family homes. But if they have looked at that and they have come back time and time again saying that that is a single family home, then I trust their judgment. And I believe that they have looked carefully at that, especially since it's come up time and time again. And I believe that they have looked at that carefully. A number of staff, it sounds like, have looked at that carefully. And so I have no issues in supporting the staff findings and concluding that it is a single family home. So that is how I would vote tonight.
Tom, is there anything you'd like to
Um, yeah, I think staff's done their job. I think that they've clearly shown us that the proper procedure hasn't been done yet. I mean, somewhere along the line, there might have been either a miss or a glitch in maybe helping these folks find the correct way to go about this process. I don't know. But the fact is that the right process has to happen, which is they need to go to the city council and ask for a zoning change and get the change to happen so that it can happen. And it would seem with all the duplexes and fourplexes I'm seeing around that area, that it may be very easy to make that happen. I don't know. I know that Provo City is now kind of trying to make a change and make it a little bit more easy for people to make these duplexes available because of the shortage of housing. So I think the process is there for it to happen, but it has to happen, and the applicant needs to make that happen. So I would have to vote with approve everything that's been done through staff. I think they've done it just right.
well, I think we're clear how things are likely to go tonight. I wonder before we well, I don't know if it's more appropriate before or after we vote, but I wonder if there's staff present who feel like they're in a position to be able to make sure that Ms. McCann leaves tonight at least with a clear sense of what her best options are. Because certainly typically where we talk about decisions being able to be appealed to the district court, I don't believe is in anyone's best interest, and it's chasing the wrong problem. Is there anyone that can speak to that?
I am happy to email Ms. McCann after this meeting and guide her to the resources so she can start the process of a rezone if that's the way that she would like to go.
Okay.
Bill, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, staff would be happy to meet with you and walk through that. You just need to be careful that if you're going to apply for a zone change, that the property can meet all the requirements of that zone you're going to ask for in terms of landscaping, off-street parking, any of those types of things. Because if you don't meet those things, then even the zone change is kind of futile. But staff would be happy to meet with you and go through those types of requirements and show you what those options are.
Okay. Well, do I have a motion?
Well, I have a question
Oh,
first.
sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
For staff. It's been mentioned that there are many or several other duplexes and triplexes in that area, or at least those that give the appearance of being duplexes and triplexes. To the best of your knowledge, how many of those are legal, or how many of those might be in the same situation as this residence, where they're being used as such, but they're not being compliant?
Do you know of any violations?
I don't know of any violations immediately in the area. The violations that occurred and on this. Sorry, let me speak clearly. This is Abinadai. The violations that I know of in the area were about landscaping, and I received those violations earlier in the year, but I was not made aware of any other type of violations, including occupancy or illegal duplexes or anything like that in the area this year.
All right. Can you give me an estimation of how many are legal duplexes?
Without doing the research, I cannot say if they're all legal or if they're all illegal or if there's a mix.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew, I'll make a motion.
Please.
I move that we deny the request for let's see. I move that we deny Ms. McCann's request to turn over staff's decision to make this a duplex, and that we uphold staff's the finding in the staff report. Is that okay? That's kind of disjointed.
Well, unless staff jumps in with an objection, I think we understand what we're doing.
That's fine.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Thanks, Tom. So let's go through and vote. So please, board members, state your name and your vote. I will begin. So Andrew Rennick, and I vote in favor of the motion.
Wes Mayor,
Sorry, Wes. Go ahead.
go ahead, Tom.
Tom Halliday, I vote in favor of the staff's recommendation.
Wes Mayor, vote in favor of the motion.
Maria Winden, I vote aye.
Okay, so I think with that, the staff's findings are upheld and the appeal is denied. And we again thank you for being here. We are always grateful for residents of Provo who are willing to engage the official processes, as cumbersome as they might be, so that you can
Yeah, best of luck, Ms. McCann. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, so with no other items, we can close this December meeting of the Board of Adjustment.
Happy holidays.
Being here.
See you guys.
Take care. Sorry, I was a little late.
All right. Bye.
Good night.
Right.
Oh, it's out.